Alright, hi guys. I have a new video. I finished painting Ottoman Cavalry, and I also managed to make a game mat for myself. I tried to do a video last night with showing it, but honestly the color under my lights in my apartment doesn't look as good, so you can go on the community tab when I took a picture of it outside, and I think that'll get the point across better. It was a pretty easy project. I mean, I just went to the Hobby Lobby near me, and they had some of this felt fabric called, I think it was like sandstone brown, so it already had kind of like like it was kind of like a mottled color. And then I just got a can of green spray paint there, and I think it looks pretty good. Pretty simple, and because I know some of those game mats can be nice, but I just can't justify spending the money right now. And I was able to get like I asked for like 2.5 yards of fabric, and then it was all, and the textile was already like 2 yards wide, so like a 7.5 by 6 foot mat I can throw down on a table. And yeah, I think I might get another color, like a brown or other shade of green, and touch it up a little bit, but for now I think it looks fine. It occurred to me just recently, I could have flip the other side over and maybe just do like some browns and very light greens for like a desert kind of thing. But at any rate, yeah, so that was a nice quick project, and that takes care of having a gaming mat, because I'm gonna try this summer to host the Setsora game with the club near me. So hopefully I can get that done. And then I worked on these Ottoman Cavalry. Actually, might be better if I move this closer to the light so you guys can see it. And they also had this this organizing mat at the store at Hobby Lobby, and I went ahead and bought it. I thought it was a pretty convenient thing, so it's only like 10 bucks. Yeah, there we go. So got yeah, the raiding cavalry, the volunteers, that's what their name means in Turkish. And I think the banner looks pretty good. I did their clothing different shades. They're all red, but I picked out like different shades of red, but I'm not sure if that shows up on the camera necessarily. Yeah, I think that turns out pretty well. And then I started on the next unit of these guys. And I'm going to do different blues, blue and gray blue for them, I think. So and then I've been doing like one color on the saddle blankets or accents to organize them. So for these guys I picked green, and then these guys I used the desert, kind of this desert yellow. Yeah, I think it's turned out pretty well. And this is the Tatar, like, captives and rabble. So came with the Tatar skirmish box set, and yeah, I'm glad they kind of threw this in there, because this also makes like a good objective if I need it for a game. So that's pretty useful, or just to put as something in a camp. So yeah, and then I got a bunch of stuff prepped the last few days, and then, like, I've got King Sobieski and his retinue um, glued down to get ready to paint. So yeah, I think I've got a lot more will come, and hopefully I can do a big army showcase. I did also want to, oh yeah, I may try to do a video on this Ottoman costume book that's used a lot. It's called the Ralam, R-A-L-A-M costume book. You can find it on the U.S. Library of Congress website. It's got a really nice scan, and it's context. I might do a video about that, but I don't know if me talking over the images is the most interesting format. I think I would, people can just look it up and read it themselves. I mean, main thing, I was going to read this article that kind of describes when it was made, like what was going on, especially in Istanbul, because it was a costume book bought or acquired by a Swedish, I think he was a diplomat in Istanbul in the 1650s. So I don't know, still might do that video. I mean, I think the topics I cover on here are pretty niche, even by historical war game standards, so sometimes I think I should just make the video, and the only thing I lose is like 15 or 20 minutes of my time, I guess. Yeah. The only last thing I wanted to talk about, and so on YouTube, like, there's people are making videos about the yearly, like, Games Workshop price increase, which is not surprising. I mean, it's, I started this channel doing a lot of complaining about Games Workshop, and I still do it in comment sections, to be honest, in other videos, but I've just moved on to try and play different games. But it is what got me into this hobby, so I kind of am still somewhat invested in it. But anyway, mainly I wanted to just share that, like, in my area, I really don't see any sales of, like, GW stuff. So there's 2 game stores, and one is the one I go to more regularly to buy paint and stuff, mostly, and that store, the first store, I have not seen them sell any box sets of Games Workshop games, like, the entire time I've lived here. So coming up on 7 or 8 months, something like that, 7 months, something like that. So I think that's long enough, I mean, to get an idea. And it's been the same kits on sale every time. And then the only new kits that I've seen them get in are, like, not even kits, they're the rule books for Warhammer: The Old World. So that's like the only thing I've seen, and I don't even know if those will sell, because they had the rule book on sale, the main rule book, and I have to confess, I almost considered getting it, but it was $70 for a rule book, and I'm just not paying that much. I can't afford that right now. And I thought, well, I've got these Oathmark elves, and if I buy more fantasy miniatures, it's going to be Oathmark anyway, and I could just play, if I wanted to play the Warhammer rules, I could, do it with those. But I'm just not going to do that. Just not interesting to me. especially not to pay that much money for rules that are kind of mediocre from what I can see on YouTube. And if I do ever play Warhammer Fantasy, I think I'd rather try like the 6th edition, because Joy of Wargaming has played that on his channel, and that seems like a pretty solid set of rules. I did want to try Warhammer Ancient Battles. Well, this is already a tangent from the main topic, but it does remind me that I do want to play Warhammer Ancient Battles, because they have the core rules, of course, but then they also had the Vlad the Impaler book that they did, and the army lists in that look pretty good for what I like to do. Slightly earlier period, but still interesting to me. But I'm not sure how it would work with 15 millimeter figures that I have, like not in the kind of Warhammer style ranks. So if anyone was a WAB player, let me know if you have experience doing that, because I'm sure there's like a workaround. But yeah, but I guess the main point is I just don't see people buying Warhammer stuff in my area, at least. And I think the population, there's a decent sized gaming community for that kind of stuff in this area, I think. And then the other game store, they have a lot of like the TCG stuff and a lot of board games, but their like selection of Warhammer stuff is like pretty small, actually. And every time I've been in there, I just don't see a lot on sale, and I don't really notice a lot moving, although I don't go to that store as much, so I can't say for certain. Yeah, I guess it's just kind of an interesting little anecdote about like where the market is with that type of wargaming. And I don't know how much kind of Games Workshop will continue to just be the clear kind of dominant company. I think it'll be for a while, but still, I just don't see it, especially as, everything is getting more expensive in general, and, there's no reason those miniatures should cost that. I guess, and when I started in the hobby, it was like, I was like 12, 13 years old, and this was like during the recession in 2008, when that was pretty bad, the prices were rising quickly back then, and now in retrospect, they seem like they were pretty fair, actually, because you could still get, like, if you played Imperial Guard, you could still get Imperial Guard for like, it was like 40, or no, it was 20 to a box. So yeah, it was 20 miniatures to a box for like $40, and I think that's a pretty fair price even now, to be honest. Yeah, so it's just kind of what I wanted to share about that kind of topical thing. It's just still funny to me that, like, I can order like these white metal figures from all different kinds of companies which is a much more expensive material than plastic, and it's like not as expensive as those figures. So, but anyway, I think I found a more interesting area of the hobby the last several years, and it's nice to not be dependent on one company. Yeah, I guess I just don't really have a strong interest in actually playing like Warhammer. I've tried to play like the 3rd edition. And I think if I had like a regular group that was interested in like the 3rd edition or 4th edition 40K, I would give that a try. But overall, I just think I'm more of a historicals person now, and you know, but it's still, the Warhammer still got me into miniature wargaming. So, like a lot of people, I think, yeah, I think like a lot of people, it would still, that's still why I'm kind of interested in talking about it. And like I said, I would give you know, fantasy a try if you know, like the 6th edition fantasy. You know, if I could just use like these, you know, build up like an army with Oathmark figures and play it that way. Which I think I'll just show them real quick, because I do like them a lot. These are the elves, 28mm obviously, but I mean, my painting's just okay, but they are nice miniatures, I have to say, and not overly detailed. So, and they do look good all ranked up. Yeah, alright, so this video's kind of went on a little long. So if you've watched to the end, I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video, and hopefully I'll have more units done.